All right, so what we're going to be looking at tonight, let me get my lighting on here. We're going to be looking at and discussing how this coronavirus and the current state of lockdown is going to affect the real estate market. We are going to look at the policies and procedures that my team is implementing at the moment and kind of what I would be suggesting real estate agents implement in order to not only stay safe but also prevent yourself from getting sued, prevent yourself from spreading the virus, prevent yourself from making your clients unsafe. And then we're going to look at what we should expect as far as the real estate investing world goes. So if you're joining me, I'd appreciate it if anybody can get in live chat and just let me know if you're able to hear the audio. I think it's working, but I just wanted to make sure. So if anybody's in here, you can get in the live chat and just say, hey, the audio is working. I would appreciate that. I'm going to get a fresh page here. We're going to get started. So here's the deal. So let's start. First, we're going to talk about safety procedures, policy, and that sort of stuff, and what we've implemented for our team, and kind of what I would suggest. You don't have to listen to me, but I would highly recommend that you talk to your broker and see what your broker's doing, what your broker's recommending. I've heard the complaint of there's not a whole lot of guidance out there in the world of real estate, and that doesn't surprise me much. We are all 1099 contractors. However, our brokers should be giving us some sort of leadership. So what we're doing as a team right now, the Governor Wolf in Pennsylvania has stated that all non-essential businesses should pretty much be shut down as of today and for the next 2 weeks. I do not see real estate sales as being an essential business. However, in order to curb the economic effects of what's going on here, myself and our administrators for our team, as well as our agents, are still working for the most part, I would assume. I am, my admins are, I know at least a couple of our agents are out of 3, so we're still functioning. Now, that being said, we are not functioning at full capacity, and we are taking extreme precautions. So one of the first things that we're looking at here is eliminating any sort of personal contact. As you can imagine, like you're trying to convert buyer leads, you're trying to convert seller leads. Typically, what I recommend in order to convert leads is for us to meet in person. We discuss what your goals are. We have a consultation, and then we move forward with a contract, and we market your property, or we help find a property for you. That being said, even one-on-one contact, now they're saying, don't meet in groups larger than 10, but if we're sales agents and we're out there constantly just meeting with the public, like I could meet with 10 different people in one day, that's not doing anybody any good there either. So I just actually got off a listing appointment where we did it as a Zoom conference call, webcam meeting. So listing appointment's done. Looks like we'll be getting the listing. I've got to follow up with the seller next week. We're going to do the paperwork, get it listed. that brings us to the next problem, right? So our meetings, we're trying to do those virtually. As far as marketing properties, so we're going to look at the seller side first right now. As far as marketing properties, pretty much everything that we can do, we are doing the same. Obviously, if we have to get professional photos done, we are relying on our photographer, and we are right now stating that our photographer and anybody that shows up for that professional photography shoot needs to be wearing an N95 mask and wearing sanitized gloves. So you can buy boxes of rubber gloves or neoprene or whatever they are, whatever you want, and pull it straight out of the box, put it on your hands, and then get out of your car, go do whatever it is that you're doing. And when you're done, before you get in the car, you take the gloves off, take it off one hand, hold it with the other, pull it off, so you got them all in a ball here, inside out, and then you are putting that in your trash bag in your car or whatever. So got to wear gloves, got to wear the mask. So take the photos, we get them online, we're doing all that sort of stuff as per normal. We are doing video tours of all vacant properties, and we're doing video tours of occupied properties that are new listings coming up. And when we used to do a video tour, we were doing a quick. We would take 4 or 5 of the best photos, turn it into a nice little video, quick walkthrough type thing, and then we would put it online. And the whole idea was it was creating a teaser where buyers would see it, they would want more information about the property, they would click the link or they would call us, and then we would capture the buyer lead. Well, as of right now, we're doing an actual thorough walkthrough of the property. So we're going from the outside, we're going around the exterior, and then we're going in and through the property, and we are showing the whole property like you're walking through it with us. That way, if a buyer is interested, they can take a tour of the property without leaving their home, basically. From there, if they do want to see the property in person, so they saw it, they like it, they want to see it in person, I will still show them the property. Our agents will still show them the property. They need to show up, and they need to wear gloves, and they need to wear an N95 mask, and I will have a mask on, and I will have gloves on myself, and then we will take a look at the property. That's kind of it. On the seller side, we have open houses planned still. We have open houses planned for the beginning of April, and as of right now, the plan is to wear a mask and gloves at the open house, and that we are going to require anybody entering the house to also have a mask and gloves on, because those properties are occupied properties. We do not want the owners coming back to a whole bunch of new germs. We are, so long as I can find sanitizing wipes, I will make my own bleach solution if I have to, but we will wipe down all the doorknobs and light switches and that sort of stuff, and we will be asking the potential buyers to not touch anything while they are there. So business as usual, other than masks and gloves, really. Obviously, things are slowing down a little bit here this week. The funny thing is, though, I listed, I think, 5 or 6 properties last week, and we have potentially 3 offers coming in on them already. So I expected it to be slower than it is, so that's kind of a good thing. And I think that the other agents in the Pittsburgh market can probably attest to that. I have agents asking me for seller disclosures and telling me they're bringing offers and bringing questions from buyers. So it seems like everybody out there is kind of still doing the same thing, or doing the same thing, and that's great. So the market looks still okay considering. But what I would, hi Nunzio and hi Jake, thanks for chatting in there. But kind of my mindset, so we'll leave the safety stuff here soon. My mindset with the safety stuff, though, is as of right now, we're all hoping that this is like a very quick process, right? Like, okay, we're going to be holed up for 2 weeks, and then after 2 weeks, everybody's going to be fine, and we're going to be able to go out and do our normal business. I don't really think that's the case. 2 weeks is not a whole lot of time. So I think that this is probably going to drag on for a lot longer than we would want it to. And therefore, in order for us to continue functioning as an economy, we're going to have to adapt here. So we're adapting now instead of waiting. And our team is going to adapt, and we're going to continue servicing our clients as best we can remotely, and we're going to take safety precautions otherwise. So I would recommend, hey, I'm not going to tell you that you should be working right now, but I sure as hell wouldn't be just twiddling my thumbs. So that's the safety precaution side of things. Let's talk about the business side of things. So we are going to be under quarantine basically for 2 weeks now. And when you are not lead generating for 2 weeks, when you are not listing properties for 2 weeks, when you are not showing homes for 2 weeks, then you lost 2 weeks worth of pay. And you didn't lose it now, you lost it like 3 months from now, right? Because real estate's not one of those things that pans out like a paycheck. You don't get paid every week or every other week. We get paid when properties close. And if we don't work now, then that means we don't get paid 2 or 3 months from now. So what am I doing? What am I doing? I am still working. I am right now really pushing the listing side of things, although as we'll see here in a little bit, we may be heading toward a buyer's market. So I am trying to pick up as many listings as possible. I like the idea. I have a guy I'm talking with right now. He has some investment properties. They're vacant. They're beat up. He wants to sell them for cash as is. I like the idea of listing those properties because this is going to be a investor's market here pretty soon, probably. So if I got investment properties on the market, they are going to sell for cash. They're going to sell as is. They're going to close in 30 days. They're going to be quick money. Especially if I can get them on the market soon while it still hasn't died down quite a bit. So I'm picking up listings, and I'm a strong listing agent. I like listings. I'm going to pick up listings. I'm going to double down on listings, and I'm going to keep working. And we're focusing as a team on bringing in new agents or agents that haven't worked with us before, essentially. So I'm looking at now semi-experienced agents or experienced agents to join the team who can work our buyer leads. We've always had an overflow of buyer leads, and we really need people to work those leads. And because of where the market's heading, we are more than likely going to be in a buyer's market, which means that if you have a qualified buyer, they are going to be a surefire paycheck. So I'm telling our agents that like to work with buyers and do that to really focus on screening their buyers ahead of time and making sure that they're qualified before they spend time with them, and making sure that they're pre-approved or they have cash in hand. What we don't want is to start showing houses and assume that somebody is approved, because the banks will probably start cracking down on underwriting criteria, and then we're going to have people that we thought were going to get qualified and they can't get qualified by the time we find them the right house. So we're still focusing on building the business. The second tip I would have, so tip number one is like keep lead generating and keep finding buyers and sellers. Tip number two would be double down on it. Like you're going to have to, if the market heads in the direction that it did in 2008, at one point I had 77 listings and I think we only sold 70 homes that year. So 77 listings and we sold 70 homes. Not a lot of them sold. We were looking at, back then it was like 70% of listings were expiring. They were going a whole year without selling. So if you're going to focus on listings, you really need to double or triple your listing intake if you want to predict for a down market and be able to handle a down market with listings alone. On the buyer side, it still gets a little tricky. They call it a buyer's market, right? But it's not a fun market for anybody. It's not a fun market at all. And that's because the banks more than likely will start clamming up, and they're going to make their underwriting criteria a lot more strict. They're going to start undervaluing properties because they don't want to become overextended on properties. And you're going to see buyers that would have been approved last week not approved next week. So take that into consideration when we're working with buyers. And the same thing goes with buyers, man. If you want to make it in this market, you're going to want to put twice as many homes under contract with buyers. If you want to close 4 a month, you need to put 8 deals a month under contract, because if it gets hairy like it was in 2008, 9, and 10, you will have 50% of your buyer deals falling through also. And that is just the way that it goes. So that's what we're looking at potentially business-wise, and I'm going to show you why here right now. So here's what we're looking at. The stock market, we're going to do a very basic graph of the stock market, right? A month ago or so, we're at the peak, right? We're at the peak of the market. This is the stock market. We hit something 28,000. At Dow Jones was at 28,000 points. Stock market just plummets. I don't know where we're at now, around 20,000, we'll say. So this just happened, right? The thing about real estate that I noticed, especially back in 2008, I had just got licensed in 2008, and I'm watching the stock market just crash. I think it crashed in February or something like that, and it was just totally decimated, right? But the thing was, people were still buying houses, and things were still moving real estate wise. And you got like some of these agents were talking like, I'm not going to worry about it. Everything will be fine. And it was literally like 1 week everything's fine, and then the next week it was just mayhem. Everybody's depressed. Everybody's deals are falling through. Nobody's getting paid anymore. They were expecting commission checks to live off of. Agents, a lot of times, are living paycheck to paycheck just like everybody else. And, the SHIT hits the fan, and everybody's in like panic mode. So what I'm predicting here is, if this is not a short rebound from this virus, we're going to see this. So the real estate market's like this, and then it's going to tank. Within the next probably 2 to 4 weeks, it'll start tanking. And it will more than likely be a fast tank if we don't see a rebound here soon from the virus. There are certain areas, so people bring up, well, you're in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a great market. Pittsburgh will be fine. I've seen investors on the Facebook investor group say, well, we're in Pittsburgh, everything will be fine. That's what they're basing that on is, hey, back in 2008, the market crashed and everything was fine in Pittsburgh. I think the next year in Pittsburgh, our average sale price was up like 1%. So our average sale price increased while the rest of the country was decimated by like 20% or something like that. That's great, but the thing is Pittsburgh had a bubble around it that protected it from an economy crash, because Pittsburgh back then would still be, a pretty depressed place. Like we were on the upswing from some severe economic depression in Pittsburgh. So we were already like at a low. We were as low as we could get. It couldn't get any worse almost. So we were buffered there. The difference here is that this is not just like a stock market crash. This is like everything is pretty much grinding to a halt right now. And I would expect that if this doesn't turn around quickly, we're going to see mandated government shutdown, where it's just like, hey, no more of this running around trying to show houses with masks and stuff on. Everybody needs to stay in their house for another 2 weeks. So if we look at like a month or 2 months without any sort of economy running, we're going to have quite a substantial hit even in the Pittsburgh market. So we need to consider that as real estate agents, and as real estate investors, we need to consider that. We need to consider, especially as real estate investors, tenants are not going to be able to pay their bills. They're not going to be able to pay rent. It's coming up, you talk about 2 weeks with no pay. That's like, okay, half their pay is gone. They're going to be sucking up their PTO if they even have it. They're going to be using up their sick days and all that sort of stuff. And then you've got another 2 weeks, and then they're not getting paid at all. Anybody with vacation stuff, they're done. They have no more pay coming in. So within a month here, we're going to have a bunch of people who can't afford to pay rent. They're not going to be able to pay the utility bills, nothing. All right. So landlords are going to stop receiving their rent checks. So if you're a landlord and you're fortunate to have a job and you have some sort of income still coming in from that, that's great, but you may be losing that as well. Then you're going to lose your rent check. And then you're not going to be able to pay your mortgages. And it's just a trickle down the line. So that's what we need to expect as far as the investor world is concerned here. And I'm hoping that we get some sort of definitive guidance from, I think the federal government should be doing it, in my mind, because this is affecting every state. Every state is going to see the same sort of stuff. Rent's going to dry up. Mortgage payments are not going to be made by investors, landlords, and owner occupants. And then, the first thing that I'm going to stop paying is utilities. I'm not, why do I need to keep my electric on? I can live without electricity. It's not going to be fun, but I can live without electricity. I could live without the internet. I could live without cable. I could live without gas even right now if it stays warm enough. So stop paying utilities. And, a lot of the states already announced that they're not going to shut the utilities off. But us landlords, us business owners, we're going to be in the same sort of situation as everybody else, and we need to be ready for that. What are we going to stop paying? And if we do have to continue to make mortgage payments, what are we going to make our mortgage payments with? So if you got cash reserves, that's great. If you don't, you probably want to get cash reserves, and that's why the stock market's plummeting, because people are selling stocks for cash. So that's kind of the short of it. Again, I would be looking at, now the thing that I would predict though with Pittsburgh is that when this is all over, I think we're going to rebound really fast. Everybody's been watching Pittsburgh. I think as soon as money starts rolling back into people's pockets, Pittsburgh real estate world will rebound extremely quickly. There will be deals to pick up. There will be desperation. There will be fire sales. So there will be deals. And if you are an investor, have cash. Make sure you stash your cash. Be ready for this, because when everybody is freaking out is when you should be buying both stocks and real estate. And that's where my head's at right now at the moment. I am putting away as much cash as possible. I have a plan for what's going to happen here if I have to stop paying bills, but I want to make sure I have as much cash as possible on hand when this is all said and done. So that's kind of like in a nutshell what I was looking at. If you guys have any questions or anything you want discussed, please pop it into the chat box there, and we will address it. I will show you my opinion or point of view on it anyway. And if they're like, tell me what's going on. We got Nunzio from Italy. How's it going in Italy right now? I've seen the videos of everybody penned up in their apartments and whatnot, and it seems like the curve, the virus infection curve is starting to head in a downward direction in Italy, which is fantastic. Well, That may be it. I'm not getting any responses on chat. I know there's quite a delay between me talking and what's feeding out to YouTube right now. I've been having issues with, been having a lot of issues with the bandwidth of internet right now because I think everybody and their brother's on the internet because we're all sitting in our houses. Hi to Saudi Arabia there. Thanks for joining us. So that's it. I'll kind of keep you guys updated. I know it's been a while since I posted videos. I'm looking forward to getting some more videos out there. I'm kind of in triage mode at the moment. It's been a hectic year, and it's really not getting any less hectic as we speak. So I will definitely look forward to posting some more videos. We're going to talk about time leverage and that sort of stuff. But first, I got to make sure that our businesses survive this. So that's top priority. I hope that's your top priority as well. Once we get through this, look at survival and thrival, we'll call it. You need to thrive in this environment. So just double up, double down on your business activities. Get as much money set up for you as possible to come in and sustain it until all this crap is over with, and you'll be in a very nice position for the rebound boom that we will see, especially in the Pittsburgh market once it's all said and done. So thanks for joining me. Everybody have a great night. If you need me, you know where to find me on Patreon or Facebook. Just search Dustin Nolf. Take care.